Welcome to my first instructional video. Today we're going to be looking at using the fraction function on two different calculators. All right, we're going to start with this one, and then we have a slightly different, not only is it a different brand, it has a different function, and we'll explain how to do both of them. Fortunately, the actual function is independent of the operation you're doing, so we can just do a couple of adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, and we'll have it. Okay, this calculator, the fraction function is this key right down here. It's got the A, B/C, looks like fraction with variables in it, but that is your fraction function. A lot of calculators use this. The key can be up here somewhere. But if you find that key on your fraction, on your calculator, the way we do it on this one is the way you would use yours. I kind of like this calculator because in 2016, that calculator was about $8.77 at Walmart. So very inexpensive, very easy to use. So we're going to get started. We're going to take a look at just a simple fraction. 3/4 plus 9/10. You know, we're not going to have to find common denominator or anything like that. Not going to have to do any work on our paper. Calculator's going to do it all. So first we're going to just come over here and enter the so you start off with your 3, that's your numerator. So you press 3 and then you hit the fraction function wherever it is. Like I said, on this calculator it's right here. Other calculators it might be up there. And then 4. Okay, I'm adding in this problem, so we're going to say plus, and then enter 9/10. 9, fraction function, 10. You can see up here on the display that it's using some kind of a little angle symbol to separate the two numbers. That's just saying numerator here, denominator. So now when I hit an equal sign, there's what we get. Okay, now you'll notice there's two symbols here. This right here, the underscore is separating the 1 from the 13. That's your whole number part of the answer. This is a mixed number, 1 and 13/20. So to write your answer on your paper, though, you just write it like you always would, 1 and then 13/20, and that is it. Okay, all you have to do is remember that in between each part of the fraction, you press the fraction function. All right? So, and that's how you enter any fraction that's just numerator and denominator. What about a mixed number? Okay? So this key comes into play again just twice. So we're going to look at this fraction, 5 1/3 minus 2 3/4. Again, we could be adding, we could multiply, we could be dividing. It doesn't matter. You still put the fraction in the same way. So here we go. All right, so 5, hit that fraction function. Numerator, hit the fraction function 3. So up here on the display, it shows the 5_1 That's 5 1/3. I'm going to subtract, so I hit the subtraction key, and then repeat with 2 3/4. 2, fraction function, numerator, fraction function, denominator. Display shows 2 3/4. Hit an equal sign, and it gives me my answer. And once again, you don't write it with any funny thing. You just write 2 7/12 like that. And that's it. That is how you enter a fraction on this fraction calculator using that key. And again, if this key is up here somewhere, doesn't matter. You still press it between each part of the fraction. So that takes care of this one. And again, if the fraction key looks like that, anywhere on your calculator, you press it between each part of the fraction. So let's take a look at this one. This calculator, I really don't know how much it costs, but it is a more expensive calculator, and the fraction function looks different. It's also, in my opinion, a little bit more complicated, but still works pretty nicely. We got a shot of that? Okay. For this one, you don't press it in between each part of the fraction. You press it from the beginning. So let's take a look at the problem we're going to do. We're going to multiply and divide with this, but I want to stress again that it doesn't matter what operation. You still use the function, the fraction function, the same way. So 2/5 times 7/8. All right. Again, with this calculator, you have to start off telling it that it's a fraction. And you can see it gives you a little thing that looks like a fraction with, empty boxes. So the first thing you got to do is start with 2/5. So we go 2, and now this button right here is like the on a TV remote. It's got little arrows, left, up, right, down. I need to go from the numerator to the denominator, so I press down. And then I put in my 5. So there's 2/5. Okay, I'm done with that fraction. To tell the calculator that, I use the right arrow key. Okay, and now I tell it operation, multiply. And then, again, it's a fraction. I'm doing 2/5 times 7/8. So I have to tell it again that I want to do a fraction. So the fraction function, and then I fill in. Top numerator is 7. Down arrow to get to the denominator, 8. And you can press the right arrow to get to the end of the problem, but since I'm done, I just need to know what the answer is, I press equals. And this calculator displays it like you would write it, 7/20. So I come over here, there's my answer, and that's how you input a regular fraction, a non-mixed number, using this function key, and you press it before you enter the fraction, and then you move around in the fraction with this little directional key, for lack of a better word. All right, one more thing, and that is, how do I put a mixed number into this fraction? All right, again, to me it's a little bit more complicated. It still uses this key, but it uses what's called the second or shift function of the key. Right up above it, you can see a little writing above some of these keys. That's telling you that there's another function here, okay? And to access that, you press the shift key. So we're going to do one more problem before we close the video. 2 3/5 divided by 1 1/2. So go to the calculator. I need it to be a mixed number, so I can't use that key. I've got to shift it. And then you can see on the display, A looks like a little mixed number with empty boxes. So I start with 2, okay, and 3/5. So I press 2. I need to now get to the numerator because that's my whole number was just 2. So numerator's on top, so I press the up arrow key. Nope. Sorry. It's the right. The up arrow key doesn't work. I mean, it's not that it doesn't work. It doesn't take me there. I press the right arrow key. So let's clear that and try this whole process again just to make sure. So let me start over. Same problem, but let's go back to the beginning. I need it to be a mixed number. So shift and the fraction key, and it shows me my mixed number. So I start with 2. To get to the numerator, I do hit the right arrow key right here. Instead of trying to hit the up arrow, it's the right arrow. And then I enter the 3. I'm done with the numerator. I go down for the denominator, the down arrow. 5. There's my initial fraction, 2 3/5. I go to the right arrow key to tell it that that's my fraction, and then I hit the division sign, and since I need a mixed number, again, shift fraction function. You know it's ready to go if it shows you the 3 blocks. So 1, okay, to get to the numerator, I hit the right arrow, and the phone probably won't pick it up, but there is a little blinking cursor right there, but you can see it. And now 1/2. 1, numerator's done. Down arrow to get to the denominator, 2, and then hit an equal sign. Once again, this calculator has a slightly strange bit of programming that I haven't figured out how to get away from. Notice it reports our fraction as an improper fraction. Well, most math teachers around the world are not going to want you to tell them that that's the answer. So once again, we need to know a little bit more about the calculator. Right here, this button right here can be used to turn a fraction into a decimal or a decimal into its equivalent fraction, and it does have a second function. The second function of this key turns a mixed number into an improper fraction or the reverse. So once again, I go to the shift, and then I press this key right here, the one that's got the S with a double arrow head and a D. Press it, and there you go. You can see your mixed number answer. And once again, it looks just like you'd write it on your paper. So I'd write 1 11/15, and we're done. I hope that this is useful for those of you that are just getting your fraction calculators, wanting to learn how to use them. And I do appreciate you watching. Thank you.